Hey gang, we are in Colorado in the mountains right now. We're in the San Juan Mountains. Actually the town right down there, Silverton. We're at about 9,500 feet. We're going to be taking a long walk. Hopefully it's not all uphill, so I'm going to be breathing heavy. I've been running and doing good, but carrying this, I've got my cinematic camera, so we've got not only 4K, we're going to have cinematic. We're going to get some great shots here of the mountains, the graves. The cemetery is amazing. I did scope it out. Thanks Cheryl Daggs for suggesting this. She's contributed a lot of ideas, and I love to get any of your ideas. I will shout you out. This is the best. I get 80% of my ideas from you. Ooh, I got to keep my hands off the pine trees, getting all sappy. And what's going on here? Well, the neatest thing about the cemetery is the gravestones, because someone, and maybe you all can help me, or a group, recently or in the last 30 years or so, has gone back and found graves of many people with their stories. And Deb and I, we've researched 15 of them. I've got notes if we can find them. I know I have a couple, 3 identified, so as we walk, it'll be fun to search. But so many of these gravestones have not only the names and dates, but they retrace the stories, and they'll say killed in mine crash, mine fall, or sucked in by this, or snowfall avalanche. So it's really cool. Kudos to the group here in Silverton. This is probably the neatest cemetery I've been to ever. So get ready for a long walk. This is going to be a long one. We're going to take our time because it's thin air. It's Hillside Cemetery, Silverton, and it is a steep hill going up and down. I'm going to try to kind of switch back a little. And what else? Yeah, Wyatt and Josephine Earp were through here. Sadie, one of my favorite characters, 2 characters from the Old West. This place was, in the 1870s, a boom town, silver, gold, and a lot of people died violently here, but it was a very close community. People were, it wasn't a law, there was lawlessness, but this wasn't known for that. This was known for, I think, mostly good people, good-hearted people, God-fearing people, and they really took care of each other, and it's just neat. Let's walk, let's get going, and what I'm going to do, we're kind of at the high point, not the back. Like if you go way back, that's newer and newer. I've kind of found the dividing line, which I think on my bearings, west is kind of that way. So from the northwest to the southeast, kind of, if you draw a line and go down the hill, the graves get older and older, and we're going to end at the 2 oldest graves. They had the first burial here of Rachel Farrow, I think was her name, if I recall right. So let's take a walk. Let's just see who we can find together. And I guarantee you, this is going to be really interesting for all of us. I scouted some of it, but not all of it. And we're surely going to find a lot of interesting stones and epitaphs. So here's a mason. We'll start out with Jens Hansen. A lot of these people were, of course, miners coming from Sweden. And we also have a lot from, well, Norway, Italy. We've got some ovals here. We've got some graves with ovals. We're not going to see a lot of those because we're going more, I could go for 2 hours here. And I got a little weather window. Listen, I was going to shoot tomorrow, and I was pulling out of here, and it just calmed down, and literally half hour by the umbrella because I was scouting, and it was like a monsoon of snow and sleet. It's May 29th, 2024. I'm heading to Wisconsin right now, back for the summer from Arizona, and this is my first stop. Well, my first stop after Winslow. So let's look around here. Look at that. It's like is that an English or French phone booth? Not sure what that's doing here. Thought that was interesting. So let's start out with something that I did find. We'll walk down the hill here a little bit. And there are some trails that you can follow. Like I said, this is one of the best most interesting cemeteries historically. And it's huge. So yeah, a lot of fortune seekers here. And people that just wanted to have a better life. A lot came from the East Coast, immigrants that I mentioned, the Italians and the Swedish, Norwegians, but also the Germans. We had English, all kind, just about everybody. Now, one thing I want to notice, now this one really, Karen Boucher, June 7th, 1940. Oh, this is a recent one. She died in 1987. So this is unusual for here. So what I find really interesting or found is, let me give you some orientation. So the town, let's just get right over here. The town of Silverton. I think my bearings, the sun is setting out that way. And if you go way south of here, that's Durango. So that's the town down there. And it looks like I see another little squall coming. Hopefully we're okay. And as you come up from there up to the cemetery, and you can drive all the way in here, there's roads serpentining all through here. You go from the oldest to newer and newer and newer. Now we're still in the old section. But if you go back up over this hill here, and you go back up in there, it's most of the newer. And in the lowlands, down by the road, down beyond this gravel road. There's another gravel road, and if you go down there, there's more recent stuff, still old. Now, what I wanted to show you first was, just because this is kind of the dividing line, this is the area where they buried people they were probably embarrassed about then. They did not have headstones, I'm guessing. Maybe they did. They were wood, long gone. By the way, there are some wood ones we're going to see. But these were considered by some, or maybe many, the undesirables. Many of them were women of the night or dance hall girls, right? Now look at this Patsy Johnson. She lived to be 23 years old. She died of pneumonia, and look, it says inmate of Luke's dance hall. Inmate, which of course means she was a worker. Interesting look at here. And we're just going to kind of flow along here and just find stuff. Now I bought roses for them, but I didn't have enough. I only had 13. So look at this. This, I believe, is a baby. You can pause that and read that. There's another marker here. So if you just go beyond Patsy's grave here, you're going to see a string of 13 graves. And remember, they probably didn't have gravestones. Or I should say the wood markers, which were more typical for the average person of the time. 1870s, 1880s. And I laid a yellow rose for each of them. Luckily, I had a good stock in the back of my truck. But May Rickard, one of Blair Street's unfortunate girls, died of alcoholism, morphine, in the cabin of Molly Foley. So we'll look for Molly. Isn't that interesting? Unfortunate girls, one of the Blair Streets. Here we have Gracie Warren. She passed away 36 years old in 1906, born in Illinois. That's where I lived many years. Inmate of a Blair Street dance hall. Inmate, I love that. Almost like it was a prison. It probably was a prison because they needed the money. I couldn't get out of here. Mary Rainey, aka Mary Walcott, alcoholism, 26 years old. And, I think if you come here, it's like a one-way trip, because I can't imagine Guys, I can't imagine coming here, just driving in here for miles and miles and in and out, and elevations, coming here on a wagon or a stagecoach. Holy cow. It's I don't know how many days, weeks, maybe months to get here and to get out of here. It's like you're here to stay. Unless you're rich. It's a one-way ticket. The next one here is Mamie Murphy. And isn't this nice that they made these stones? You gotta, in comments, tell me who did this, guys. I'm sure it was a group here. Well-known Blair Street character. Well-known Blair Street character. I love that. She was 60, so they were a little nicer with her description. Minnie Morgan, an unfortunate girl, prostitute. Doesn't say how old she was, but she died in 1896, so later on she died. Now this is Bessie Miller. She's a little more well-known. Sheenie Bess. She's kind of famous. And it says there, a soiled dove. She died at age 28 of the flu. Nursed, that was what was famous about Bessie, is she was nursing the suffering, the Spanish flu. Now look at the date, guys, 1918. That was when the Spanish flu hit. And she volunteered her time, and she caught the disease from those that she was helping. Paid with her life. She was born in Colorado, and both of her parents were born in Rhode Island. We do know that. She had a sister named, what was her sister's name? Sheenie Pearl. I guess Bessie, also known as Sheenie Bess, was the sister of Sheenie Pearl. Both girls were on the line, which meant they were prostitutes. And like I said, during the flu epidemic, they paid for, I believe they both died of Spanish flu. Well, it's starting to rain again. We're just going to have to gut it. Annie James. Suit by carbonic acid, highly thought of amongst the sporting class to which she belonged. We don't know how old she was. Maybe on Find a Grave it shows. Maggie Crowley, known as Mrs. Stella Ross, March 10th, 1877, April 22nd, 1904. Died at Diamond Bell Dance Hall. Wonder how she died. Maggie Hamill, dance hall girl. She was 33. Soiled Dove, Molly Foley. 1836 to 1914. She lived a long time. A soiled dove remembered. Molly Durant died in 1882. A fallen woman sued by morphine. And Grace Marsh, another soiled dove, died of soot in 1885. Can't say that word on YouTube or we get demonetized and banned. Kitty Harrington. Kitty Harrington Harrigan, aka of Blair Street, died Christmas morning, 1907. So there they are. The soiled doves. All the way up the line here and shoved in the back, probably with no markers. Right? Alright, where should we go next? Now, we could go down there, but those are mostly, we'll see if we can get to it, but this rain is moving in. I want to stay on this level. I'm going to work our way back up. I can feel the thin air, but it feels good. The temperature, guys, is like low 60s. Not bad. All right, Martin Schmelzer, 1928. So these are more recent. Let's go up here. Now, I must say, there are probably 2/3 of the people here are unmarked. So we're going to be walking on graves constantly. And I see depressions all over the place. Okay, let's go up here. Interesting stone. Emma T.H. Let's get a look at this. I'll let you read that. Well, it's raining. Hopefully, if it keeps going, I'm going to have to cut it. There is some clouds moving in. Let's go this way. 3,300 documented burials here. 1,000 no identified. Let's see, let's go this way. In the Silverton area, here there were a lot of jobs, but to work here was very hazardous. And again, pardon me, I'm holding a 15-pound gimbal and cinematic, and any uphill steps I take, I'm going to be breathing. Let's go this way. I want to go to that section up there and then weave our way down. I don't want to start at the bottom. So let's walk over there. A lot of these guys died of lung disease, the black lung. In Illinois, I remember my roommate from college, his grandfather died of black lung from coal. But it wasn't coal here, they were mining. But they had the same problem, emphysema, which is like black lung. They called it miner's con, C-O-N, miner's consumption. And it was bad. And they'd end up at the Silverton Hospital here or Ochsner Hospital in Durango, south of here. And that must have been a long ride. I don't know how many miles. I'm guessing 20 miles to Durango. All right, we're going to walk up here, guys. Take a look. Some interesting monuments. Now, in October and November, we know it was the Spanish flu. 1918 just took a lot of people out. Here's a grave here that looks interesting. Richard Cocking, born in Cornwall. Is that England, guys, right? Cornwall, England? Let's see, here's another one. And these are the stones I'm talking about, again, like the soiled doves. These have the, what happened to them. Not on these, but on many of them you'll see. You'll see that. Robert Evans. So yeah, the black lung and the Spanish flu, these snow slides, really a lot of bad stuff happened. Here's another one. Doesn't say how she died. Lena Watson. She was of the sunshine of our home. She was the sunshine of our home. And there's the original marker you can see right there. It had a dove on top right here. All right, let's look at these. Interesting. You see, this has to be kids because there's footstones right here. Yeah, children, look at that. I'm going to kind of pause here and let you guys read it. You know, look at these kids, measles, smallpox, diphtheria, cholera, what else? Pneumonia. Common causes of death for the little ones. Diphtheria was really bad. And there were more. We got to keep our eye out for graves of 1918. That would be flu victims. James M. Buzzard, 60 years old. Love the wrought iron. From the flu, they had built, and I don't know where they are here, and we might run across it, are 2 flu trenches. You know, when they all died, they buried them all in a mass grave. And I think there's a plaque there. I don't know if we're going to run across it. I'm going to have you give you a look at these. But there's a trench, 2 flu trenches. March 1906 was a really bad year. If we see 1906, 18 people here died of the avalanche, that avalanche, or actually it's dozens of avalanches. It was just a really, really bad year. All right, here's more of these stones. And here's where you're going to start to see, again, we're getting older and older here because we're going towards the front. Stephen Harper, born in Cornwall, 63 to 1913, so he wasn't that young. Brother of John, died of miner's consumption. So, look at this. John Harper, born in Cornwall, killed 1900, 30 years old. Sunnyside mine explosion. That was Stephen's brother here to the left. Oh, what a view. Look at this, guys. I gotta give you a view of this just stunning view of the mountains, the San Juan Mountains. And as you look real close, now I'm gonna zoom in on a few things that look really interesting. Could that have been some early workings? Or, you know, is that a museum now? Isn't that neat? And as I look to, I'm going to say that's the east, northeast, up there. See that little white mark? Let's zoom in on that. I think that could be some tailings, clearing. All right. Could that be an old mine up there? Don't know, but I'll tell you this. If you go on the right-hand side here, which would be to the southwest, you're going to see, let me get down here where you can zoom in. There are lots of tailing. This had to be where a lot of the workings were done. Up there. Look at that. See that? There you go. There's a good view. Right there. Yeah. And up above, just up there, there are some more. That whole side of the mountain looks like it was heavily worked. I'm guessing. You guys tell me, you guys from here who see this, tell me what you think. I mean, you probably, you know, look at this all over the place. Graves. These are all unmarked graves. You can see what was stone circles, but now they're just jumbled all over. Let's see, let's work our way. We're getting too far south. Let's make sure we don't miss anything down there. And I'm keeping my eye out for some people that I have notes on. And if I don't find them, I'll put them in the description box with, I think there's enough room down there. They let you have 5,000 characters. And I'll put their names and their stories, and perhaps if you're here, you'll find them. but I found a few of them. Let's see, I want to focus on the ones that have the little stories, if we can. Let's go over here. So I'm zigzagging from the higher elevation down. I don't see, nope, no story. And again, this is somebody, oh, look at this. This is really interesting. What is this, guys? I do not recognize what that is. Oh, that's one of those cleats that you, isn't this where you scrape the mud off your boots? Yeah, look at this beautiful stone. (1893), above 1894, and Agnes 1893. That's in great shape. Look at this one with the gates to heaven, with the dove. Another remarkable stone. Looks very, oh, this is one of the zinc. That's why that's looking so sharp. Look at that. Is this woodman? Oh, women. Women of woodcraft. How about that? Let's go. Shout out to the women. Loving it. It's not just the woodman. Look at this grave surround, wrought iron with the flower holders. This reminds me of the grave that we saw, the Mortsafe grave in Illinois. I gotta put that description in. You guys gotta see that. It just reminds me of it. I mean, this is nothing close to a Mortsafe. Now let's go down this way. Look at, I should give you a little zoom of the river. There's several rivers and creeks. I'm not going to begin to try to tell you. One of them, Cement Creek. The other one, I can't remember the name of it. Uh-oh. Who's he? We got some friends. Now somebody's walking their dog here. Very cool. Two of them. Two hounds. Oh, too bad our two black labs aren't here. Sadie and Kodiak. Kodiak with a K, guys. Kodiak Island, she's named after. All right, let's go down here. As we're getting older and older. And there, oh, this section here I checked out. This has a lot of stories. Let's look at this first. Look at the gate. That's a neat stone. Anna, wife of Albert Brendel. 1885, she died 35 years old only. Huh? Look at this place is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Do I sound excited? Okay, let's get to it here. There is a wood footstone over there. We're going to look at that. But first, look at this. Here we go. Now we got some stories here. Jonathan Thomas, Silverton pioneer, died March 8th, 1878, Ajax snowslide. So he died in one of the snowslides. Here's another Ajax snowslide victim, James Jewell. Now James, you can see, actually if you look at Jonathan's grave, you can see the rocks around. You got to look carefully, but most of them are intact. Look at this one. So James died in 1878. Thomas over there died in the same snowslide in March 8th, 1878. So yeah, do they sleep without walking beneath the snow? Interesting. So they both died. Two friends probably. They probably knew each other. in that mine. Here's 2 more Ajax. Look, all the same date, guys. You know these guys all work together. Frank Green, son of John Green. Oh, there's the father. Father and son both died. So there's 4 victims right there. Wow. Let's make sure we don't miss anything here. Again, I'm focusing on these ones now with stories. I mean, guys, there's just too many. I know you want, I mean, it's like we could look at all of these here, but we don't have time, unfortunately. So look at this footstone, still surviving. Look at that. Usually only see that in the desert. Huh? Killed in snowslide. Not sure which one. 1879. The early San Juan settler right here. Now, I think this is where one of these, we've got a story, yeah. So these guys, actually, we have Olga here, not guys, this is, I'm gonna say his wife, who died in 1905. So she died, she preceded Carl in death, her husband, and she died of an infection, peritonitis. But this guy, let me walk around here, I don't want to step, you know, I try to avoid to step on graves as much as I can, but it's unavoidable, guys. Even, it's not disrespectful actually, your intent, but look at this. So Carl O. Johnson, October 25th, 1880, November 14th, 1909, and it says crushed in a mill pulley. This was really a horrific story, and this is the ones I remember we dug up. And I think it's on Find a Grave, and there's a newspaper article, but I'm going to pan around as I read the story instead of just putting the camera on his grave. So we'll just stand here and I'll tell you a little more detail of what happened. Carl, 29 years old, was a jig man employed by the Hercules Consolidated Mill, sustained injuries on Sunday afternoon by being drawn into a pulley. He was working on the upper floor of the mill, helping adjust a belt on the pulley, and in some way he slipped between the rapidly revolving pulley and the heavy equipment, or the heavy framework of the mill. And the pulley drew him downwards, crushing his hips and abdomen as he was gradually drawn into the narrow space. The machinery was stopped as quickly as possible, and the poor man was extricated with great difficulty. So tightly had he become wedged between the pulley and the timbers. He had been frightfully and most painfully mangled, but remained conscious. He was taken to Miners Union Hospital and examined by Dr. A.L. Burnett. Unfortunately, nothing could be done for Carl, and he died a few hours later. How about that? That is just horrific. And you know there are many stories like this, what happened to Carl, that are untold. All right, let's look for some more. Let's go this way. Now there's a lot of depressions you have to watch out for too. And that is where the wood coffins below, many years ago crushed in from the weight of the earth and deterioration. And now they are just part of the earth. No wood left, no, just a few bones. And if they're wearing shoes, the rubber heels, as Frank Truce told us. Here's another infection victim. Hilda, born in Sweden, Hilda Olsen. Don't know how old she was, but we look here. Olsen, this is Nelson. Thought that might be Olsen, so she's by herself here. Here's Alva Reed. She died of scarlet fever in 1902, a year old. Yeah, she made it to her birthday. Just imagine her birthday, she was already dying in the last few days of her life. Look at this, Richard Pryor. He died of neglect. I had him in my notes. Not much is known, but he froze to death. Let me just take a quick look if I have anything more on Mr. Richard Pryor. Not the comedian, by the way. Yeah, that's all there is on him. All right, let's go up this way. There's another one killed in a snowslide. Art Rice. Houghton Mountain, 35 years old. Let's see if I see any more I'm missing. Well, it's turning out to be a really nice evening here. It's kind of settled down. Got some wind, but looks like a nice sunset is shaping up. Infant twins, you can see the rocks around here. Look at that one that has just a big boulder for a headstone, but there is, oh yeah, infant girl, Trimbath. 1886 to 1888. And that's the headstone, just a big boulder. Infant twins of Fred and Anna Remisers Adderhold. Remisers died 1885, 3 months, twins. Wonder if it was a boy or girl, or two girls or two boys. Here's Madsen Ross. Isn't that a Swedish name? Or Maston? Maston. Is that German, Swedish? What is that, guys? Typhoid fever. Oh, bad deal. Bad deal. No well, I was going to say no paramedics. There were no antibiotics back then. Let's see. There's another one, all by itself. John Williams. Johnny Behind the Rock. Reminds me of Johnny Behind the Deuce from the Wyatt Earp days in his stories by Stuart Lake, the fiction book. Won't get into that. 1839, 1921, a miner born in Cornwall. A lot from Cornwall, guys. A lot from Cornwall. What a beautiful place. And again, I'm going to give you, let's just take a quick break here and I'll just give you a little look around here at how beautiful this is. Look at that. Snow-capped mountains. This is one of the most wonderful, peaceful, beautiful cemeteries that I have ever been to. I gotta tell you, and I know I'm repeating myself, but hey, let's see who else. Did we look at this one? No story there. Love that. Johnny behind a rock. That's hilarious. At Haran, he died in a snowslide. The Belcher Mines snowslide. Here's a few more up here, guys. Look at this. More. A lot of these are going to be victims of the various accidents. Hannah Martin Corlett. Mother, she died in 37. Let's take a look over here. Snowslide, John Schmidt, another I keep wanting to say slow slide. Snowslide, Eureka. That's 1905. Now that's a different date, right? So this is that same one, but those four we saw before, I think Eureka, that was a different year. Earlier, 1800s. Someone who lived out most of their life. Velma. Newer stone. Let's see here. I didn't want to miss any. All right, we're getting towards the oldest graves. There was one, and I don't know if we missed it, but if I did, I'll put it in the description, the Find a Grave link, but it said he was blown to atoms. Blown to atoms. A-T-O-M-S. Like, oh, look at this, guys. Kid Thomas, a.k.a. Copper-Colored Kid and Black Kid. 16 years old, he was lynched by vigilantes. Were they just racist? You have to wonder. August 25th, 1881. Wow. Oh, love to hear more of that story. All right, you guys still with me here? It's a long walk, I told you, and we're not even covering a bunch of it. Oh, I want to find that grave where he was blown to atoms. I don't know if we're going to find it. Let's go up here. More wrought iron. There's that gates to heaven again we saw before. Look at the clamshell with the child. Beyond that. A couple more up here. I'm going to take a quick look. I think these are, yeah, typhoid kernel. 1877. I think I told you it's getting early. Third burial. He was the third person buried here. Earliest marked burial, James Latham Briggs. Look at the old original lump. Just worn away to a lump. Look at that. Interesting. There's a little marker there of some kind. All right, up here is the oldest one, as we see beyond Silverton. What a great town. We're staying at this Silverton Lodge, which is a throwback. It's like all antiques inside, no fancy stuff. Here's, what a great area, huh? To do that. How cool is that, huh? Take the mountain bike, yippee-i-o, and the pups follow. Is that a sheepdog? That last guy? Come on, guy, you can do it. You can catch up. He's trying. Here's Rachel Farrow, guys. I was telling you about Rachel. Little one. Look at the rocks around. See that? Died August 27th, 1875. 4 years old. Daughter of Mason and Martha Miller Fraser Farrow. And she is the first burial here. And that's the first at the last. We are out of here. That was a great walk. I got to come back here. I highly recommend you guys come. And thanks again, Cheryl, for the lead. I love this place. I'm going to stay overnight at the lodge and head out tomorrow on the road. Stay safe, everybody. Stay safe.